My people, listen. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is not opportunity. It is discipline. Many of us wait for motivation. We wait for that feeling, that spark, that emotion that says, "No, I can do it." But motivation, my friends, is a visitor. It comes and it goes. Discipline, however, is a resident. It stays. When you build your life on discipline, you do not need to wait for the weather to be right. You do not wait for applause. You do not wait for people to believe in you. You rise. Even when the night has been long, you move. Even when your heart is heavy, you continue. Even when there is no voice saying, "Keep going." That is the rule of success, the morning rule, the rule that says, when the day is still sleeping, I will rise. Listen to me. The discipline of the morning is the foundation of your destiny. The way you begin determines the way you will continue. If your morning is ruled by order, your day will be ruled by excellence. But if your morning is ruled by excuses, your day will be ruled by regret. Every great man, every great woman has one thing in common. They conquered themselves before they conquered the world. Pauses, looks across the crowd. You see, motivation is about feeling. Discipline is about faith. Motivation whispers, "I feel like doing it." Discipline declares, "Even if I don't feel it, I will still do it." Success is not built in the moment of excitement. It is built in the moments of silence, when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when you are alone with your thoughts, and the only thing standing between you and your destiny is your decision. Discipline is not a gift from heaven. It is a choice from the heart. You decide. You choose to rise when your bed is warm and your dreams are sweet. You choose to act when your mind says, "Rest a little more." You choose to focus when distractions are calling your name. My brothers, my sisters, listen carefully. The morning does not reward the lazy. The morning rewards the prepared. When you wake early, you are telling life, "I am ready." When you discipline yourself, you are telling destiny, "You can trust me." Do you think greatness is a gift? No, my people. Greatness is responsibility, and responsibility is born in discipline. A voice rises, powerful, commanding. The problem with many of us today is that we want the result, but we do not want the routine. We want the crown, but we do not want the cross. We want the harvest, but we do not want to plant the seed. Discipline is that seed. You cannot harvest what you have not planted. And if you plant inconsistency, you will harvest failure. Motivation is like the wind. It can push your sail for a moment. But when the wind stops, what will you do? Will you stop too? Or will you row with your hands? That rowing, that persistence, that decision to move when the wind has stopped, that is discipline. Success, my people, is not an event. It is a habit of doing the right thing even when it is not convenient, even when it is not comfortable, even when no one is looking. Discipline is silent. It does not shout. It does not boast. It simply shows results. Motivation can make noise, but discipline produces fruit. Let me tell you something powerful. Each morning you wake up, you face two voices. One says, stay in bed, you deserve to rest. The other says, rise and fulfill your purpose. The one you listen to determines your future. Every morning is a battle, a spiritual battle between comfort and calling. If you conquer your morning, you conquer your day. If you conquer your day, you conquer your life. Discipline is the sword that cuts through excuses. It says, no more delay, no more waiting. Today I will begin. Do you know why many never succeed? Because they obey their feelings more than their goals. They follow pleasure instead of purpose. They want comfort today and success tomorrow. But the rule of life does not work that way. You cannot have harvest and laziness in the same garden. You cannot have victory and delay in the same heart. You cannot have discipline and distraction in the same morning. A soft tone now, slow and emotional. There was a time, even in my own life, when I asked, why is success so far? And the answer I found was simple. Because I was still sleeping while destiny was awake. Discipline woke me up. Discipline became my teacher. It told me, you cannot control the outcome, but you can control your effort. You cannot control the season, but you can control your sowing. Every morning became a test of obedience, not to others, but to my purpose. When I felt weak, I remembered motivation will not always visit me, but discipline will always stand beside me. Discipline is the bridge between the promise and the manifestation. It is the bridge between the dream and the reality. And that bridge is built one step at a time, one morning at a time. Let us talk about the morning rule of success. This is the law that separates mediocrity from mastery. It is simple, but it is powerful. What you do in the morning determines what you will become in life. If you start your day with confusion, your life will reflect confusion. If you start your day with discipline, your life will reflect order. The morning is a sacred space. It is the time when heaven listens. It is the time when the spirit is still and ready to receive direction. When you rise early to plan, to pray, to prepare, you align your spirit with purpose. But when you rise late, rushing, distracted, unprepared, you start the day as a follower, not a leader. Leaders do not wait for the day to begin. They begin the day. Pace increases. Fire in the tone. Some of you are praying for success, yet your habits are against your prayer. You are asking for open doors, but you sleep while others are knocking. You are asking for opportunity, but you do not prepare when it is quiet. My people, God does not bless laziness. He blesses diligence. Even in Scripture it says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Discipline is doing it, not halfway, not someday, but now with all your might. You see, the lazy man says, I will do it tomorrow. The disciplined man says, if I can do it today, why wait? Every delay you allow becomes a chain on your future. But every act of discipline becomes a door to your destiny. When you discipline your mind obeys. When you discipline your body strengthens. When you discipline your time multiplies. And when you discipline your heart, your purpose is revealed, pauses, softens. Let me speak to those who are tired. You say, I have tried, I have failed. I have no more strength. Listen to me. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Falling is not failure, refusing to rise is. When you wake up tomorrow, don't look for motivation. Just stand. Just begin. Even a small step taken consistently will carry you farther than a giant leap taken once. Discipline teaches patience. The patience to build what others destroy. The patience to continue when others quit. Motivation burns quickly. Discipline burns steadily. When you see a man who has built something lasting, it is not because he was always inspired. It is because he was always committed. Commitment is stronger than emotion. Emotion changes. Commitment stays. The voice grows calm but commanding. You want to change your life. Change your mornings. You want to build a future. Build discipline. You want to be remembered? Be consistent. Every morning you rise early, you are telling your future, I am coming. Every moment you refuse to quit, you are telling your destiny, I'm ready. Discipline is the proof of seriousness. It is the language of champions. It is the heartbeat of progress. Let me remind you, greatness does not begin in public. It begins in private. When no one sees you, when no one knows your name, when it is just you, your plan, and your discipline. If you cannot govern yourself in secret, you will fail in the spotlight. If you cannot manage your morning, you cannot manage your miracle. A voice rises, strong and slow, audience silent. So my people, make a decision today, not an emotional decision, but a disciplined one. Say to yourself, from this day, I will rise before the sun. I will master my morning. I will not be ruled by my mood, but by my mission. But every great destiny begins with this kind of decision. You do not wait to feel ready. You act until readiness finds you. The world does not belong to those who are motivated. It belongs to those who are consistent. Remember this, success is not built in the sunlight of applause, but in the shadows of discipline. It is not in what you do once, but in what you do always. If you master your morning, you will master your destiny. If you master your discipline, you will master your world. Sir, long pause. Voice softens again, reflective. Let me leave you with this. When you wake tomorrow and you hear that small voice say, sleep a little longer, remember, your future is waiting. Your dream is waiting. Your calling is waiting. And the only way to reach it is through discipline. Discipline is the key that unlocks destiny. It is the silent power that changes everything. And I pray for you that your mornings will be ruled by strength, that your heart will be ruled by purpose, and that your life will be ruled by discipline. Because when motivation is gone, discipline will keep you moving. When applause is gone, discipline will keep you believing. When the path is dark, discipline will keep your flame burning. My people, success is not far. It is near. It is waiting for those who are ready to wake early, stand firm, and walk with discipline. So rise, act, stay consistent. Because the morning rule of success is not a secret. It is a lifestyle. And if you live it, your life will speak louder than your words. Your results will testify. And your destiny will shine. Long pause. The crowd is silent. Then the voice concludes. Thank you. Stay disciplined. Stay faithful. And success, true success, will find you. My people, listen very carefully. We live in a generation that is full of emotion but empty of evidence. Everyone feels, everyone talks, everyone plans, but very few produce. Feelings are loud in the beginning, but results are what speak in the end. When you look at a man, you do not ask what he felt. You ask what he has done. Because the truth, my brothers and sisters, is simple. Results speak louder than feelings. Many people begin their journey with excitement. They are motivated. They are on fire. But the moment that feeling disappears, they stop. They start to say, I don't feel it anymore. I'm tired. I'm discouraged. Let me tell you something. Destiny does not care about your feelings. Destiny listens only to results. Life will not reward you for what you intended to do. It will reward you for what you did, for what you finished, for what you produced. Feelings can deceive you. Feelings can change. One moment you are ready to conquer the world, and the next you are ready to quit. If you build your life on feelings, you will live in confusion. But when you build your life on results, on consistent action, on daily commitment, you build something that lasts. Feelings are like smoke. Results are like fire. Smoke disappears, but fire burns. Let me ask you a question. When people remember you, will they remember how you felt or what you built? Will they talk about your emotions or your impact? The world remembers the builder, not the talker. The world remembers the finisher, not the dreamer. You may have the best intentions, but until those intentions become actions, they mean nothing. Feelings talk. Results testify. Sometimes we hide behind feelings. We say, I am waiting for the right mood. I am waiting for inspiration. I am waiting to feel ready. But the truth is, readiness does not come by feeling, it comes by doing. The moment you start moving, strength begins to grow. The moment you start acting, clarity begins to appear. Waiting for feelings is waiting for excuses. Those who are ruled by feelings never go far because feelings are unstable. One day they say yes, another day they say no. One day they say do it, another day they say stop. But those who live by discipline, those who focus on results, they continue no matter what they feel. A student who studies only when he feels like it will never graduate with excellence. A worker who shows up only when he feels inspired will never become a master. A man who prays only when he feels emotional will never grow in spirit. Feelings are the start. Results are the reward. You need to learn to separate the two. You may wake up one morning and feel weak. Another day, you may wake up and feel powerful. But whether weak or strong, whether happy or sad, your purpose does not change. The earth does not stop spinning because you are sad. The sun does not stop rising because you are tired. The clock does not stop ticking because you are unmotivated. Time keeps moving, and only those who act despite their feelings move with it. The rest are left behind. There are people who cry, "Why does nothing change in my life?" The answer is not in their emotions, it is in their execution. They plan, they talk, they imagine, but they never finish. They wait for the right feeling, forgetting that the right feeling comes from right doing. You do not feel productive and then act. You act and then you feel productive. When you focus on results, you begin to think differently. You stop asking, "How do I feel?" and start asking, "What have I done?" You stop measuring your progress by your mood and start measuring it by your movement. The proof of faith is not in how you feel, it is in what you produce. Even the smallest action done in faith is stronger than 1,000 emotions felt without movement. Results require consistency. Feelings require convenience. And the two rarely meet. You cannot live a disciplined life if you are ruled by convenience. Discipline means doing what must be done, whether you feel it or not. That is how results are born. If you wait for feelings to agree, you will never begin. Feelings may knock on your door, but discipline must hold the key. Think about a farmer. When it is time to plant, he does not say, "I don't feel like going to the field today." He goes because he knows the seed will not wait for his feelings. He plants when it is hard. He waters when it is hot. And he harvests when it is time. His feelings come and go, but his results speak loud. The harvest becomes his testimony. Many of us have buried our harvest because we obeyed our emotions. We said, "I will start tomorrow," but tomorrow never came. We said, "I'm not in the mood," and the opportunity passed. We said, "I don't feel strong," and the window closed. Life is not waiting for you to feel ready. The world moves with or without you. Those who act, Even when they are uncertain, find the path. Those who wait for feelings never start the journey. The strongest people are not those who always feel strong. They are those who act strong even when they feel weak. They have learned the secret. Results speak louder than feelings. When you finish what you started, your result will silence every doubt, every emotion, every excuse. Results do not argue, they simply show. You cannot debate success when the evidence is clear. Sometimes people will not believe in you. They will doubt you. They will say, he cannot do it. She cannot make it. Do not argue with them. Do not fight them with words. Produce results. When they see your results, they will have nothing left to say. Results are louder than explanation. You do not need to defend your dream. Let your results do the talking. Feelings are internal, results are external. Feelings happen in your heart, results happen in your world. If you want to change your world, you must move from emotion to execution. Stop saying, I feel, and start saying, I did. Feelings make promises, results deliver proof. There is a reason why so many people start, but never finish. They love the feeling of beginning, but hate the process of continuing. Starting is emotional, finishing is intentional. The excitement of the start soon fades, and when it does, only discipline remains. If you cannot keep going, when the feeling is gone, you will never see the finish line. Every time you push through the resistance of emotion, you are growing stronger. Every time you choose action over comfort, you are training your spirit for greatness. You are teaching your heart that results matter more than moods. Because the truth is this: no one will ask how you felt when you built your dream. They will only see what you built. No one will remember how you felt when you studied, when you worked, when you sacrificed. They will only see what came out of your effort. Results are eternal. Feelings are temporary. Results remain when feelings fade away. Feelings are like the wind, they change direction. Results are like the mountain, they stand firm. Many people are emotional about success, but not committed to success. They talk passionately, but passion without persistence is just noise. The world is full of noise, but few are full of proof. You can cry about your dream all night long, but if you do not rise in the morning to act, those tears mean nothing. Emotion without motion is emptiness. If you want to build a life that matters, shift your focus. Ask yourself daily, what will my results say about me? Because results never lie. You can pretend with words, but you cannot pretend with fruit. You cannot fake consistency. You cannot fake hard work. You cannot fake sacrifice. What you sow will show. What you plant will speak. The harvest will reveal the truth of your discipline. When you choose to live by results, you no longer chase comfort. You chase completion. You begin to value follow through more than feelings. You start to realize that happiness is not in the mood, but in the meaning. True fulfillment is not in excitement, but in accomplishment. There are people who say, I just follow my heart. That sounds beautiful, but the heart is not always stable. The heart can change its mind. One day it wants discipline, another day it wants distraction. If you follow every feeling, you will never have direction. Instead of following every emotion, lead your emotion. Train your feelings to serve your goals. Make your emotions your servant, not your master. You cannot be both emotional and effective at the same time. You must choose. Feelings may start the fire, but results keep it burning. When emotion fades, purpose remains. That is why results are louder. They are the sound of perseverance. Some people will never understand your silence while you are working. They will say, why are you so quiet? But when the result comes, they will understand. The noise of success is made in silence. You do not need to tell everyone what you are doing. Just do it. Let your results speak for you. When a tree bears fruit, it does not announce itself. People see it and come. In the same way, when your life begins to produce results, people will see it and believe. You do not need to explain your journey. You do not need to justify your process. The fruit will speak. The progress will speak. The achievement will speak. Your feelings may cry. Your body may ache. Your mind may say, stop. But your result will thank you later. Pain is temporary, but proof is permanent. You may not always feel like continuing, but when you do, you become unstoppable. The greatest victories come to those who refused to be ruled by emotion. Results are the voice of truth. They are the evidence of your faith, your labor, your patience. You may say, I am trying, but the world does not see trying, it sees finishing. Trying is a word of feeling. Finishing is a word of result. The one who finishes is the one who decides that feelings will not dictate the journey. When you wake each morning, remind yourself that feelings are servants, not leaders. Say to yourself, my feelings are not my guide. My results will be my testimony. Work when it is difficult. Move when it is uncomfortable. Stay focused when distractions rise. Each act of obedience builds a record, and that record becomes your voice. If you want peace, produce peace. If you want progress, produce effort. If you want success, produce discipline. The world hears the sound of production more than the sound of emotion. Emotion fades after it is spoken. Production echoes for generations. A disciplined life may not always feel pleasant, but it will always be productive. Sometimes discipline will hurt your feelings, but it will heal your future. When your mind says, I don't feel like it, discipline answers, do it anyway. That anyway is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The journey of results is not easy, but it is worth it. There will be days of doubt, moments of fear, seasons of dryness, But every day you choose to act, something grows. You may not see it yet, but under the surface, progress is being made. Feelings cannot see it, but results will reveal it in time. You must train yourself to value evidence over emotion. You must look at what you have done, not just how you felt doing it. Emotion may make you start fast, but evidence will make you finish strong. Every day you act, you add another brick to the foundation of your success. Every small step is a testimony waiting to be born. When people question your pace, do not answer with emotion. Answer with consistency. Keep doing what you know is right. Keep building when others are sleeping. Keep moving when others are waiting. Results will settle every argument. And remember this, results do not come from intensity alone. They come from continuity. You can be emotional for one day, but you must be disciplined for many days. Intensity starts the engine, continuity drives the car. Those who endure see the destination. Your feelings may tell you to stop, but your purpose says go. Your emotions may say rest, but your destiny says rise. Which voice will you obey? Every time you choose purpose over emotion, you take one more step toward your calling. The reason results speak louder is because they are the language of reality. Reality respects effort, not emotion. The ground responds to the seed, not to the tears of the farmer. You may cry all you want, but if you never plant, you will never harvest. Effort is what heaven recognizes. Action is what creation responds to. Even in weakness, act. Even in doubt, act. Even when you feel nothing, act. Because each act builds momentum. Each act multiplies your strength. Each act pushes you closer to the evidence that will speak for you. There will come a day when you look back and realize that feelings never built anything, but results did. And when that day comes, you will no longer chase moods, you will chase mastery. You will no longer measure your days by emotion, but by evidence. Because results are the only voice that cannot be denied. My people, listen carefully. Faith is not what we say with our lips. Faith is what we live with our lives. Many talk of faith as if it is only a word, but true faith is not talk, it is action. Faith without movement is like a seed without water. It will never grow. Discipline is that water. Discipline is faith in action. It is faith made visible. It is faith that works when feelings are gone. Many believe that faith is only to speak, to declare, to hope. But faith is more than a confession. Faith is obedience. Faith is persistence. Faith is rising every day to do what must be done. Even when your heart is heavy, discipline is the evidence that faith is alive in you. Because if you truly believe in your purpose, you will act on it. If you truly trust in God, you will move even when the path is unclear. When you say you have faith, heaven listens to your actions, not your emotions. You can cry, you can pray, you can shout, but if you do not act, your faith is not complete. Discipline is the bridge that carries faith from words to works. Without that bridge, faith collapses under its own weight. Faith begins where reason ends, and discipline begins where feeling ends. You may not understand how, you may not feel ready, but faith says go. Discipline says keep going. When you combine the two, miracles happen. Look at the farmer who plants his seed. He cannot see what is under the soil, but every morning he wakes, he waters, he waits, he works. That is not just patience, that is faith in action. His discipline is his belief that something is growing even when nothing is visible. That is how faith works. It does not wait for proof to act. It acts to produce proof. Many people say they have faith, but they wait for signs. They say, when I see results, I will move. But faith says, move and you will see results. Faith does not follow signs. Signs follow faith. And discipline is the proof that you believe that truth. Every time you rise to act, even when you do not see progress, heaven sees faith. Discipline is not easy. It goes against the flesh. It goes against the comfort of the mind, but so does faith. Faith is trusting when it hurts. Faith is walking when it is dark. Faith is doing when it is difficult. Discipline is that same spirit expressed in action. It is not emotion, it is commitment. It is saying, I believe, therefore I obey. Obedience is the mother of discipline. When you obey divine instruction, even when it makes no sense, that is faith. When you follow the path of righteousness, even when the world mocks you, that is faith in action. Discipline is not punishment, it is alignment. It is the training of your heart to walk in step with the will of God. Faith may begin as a flame, but discipline is the oil that keeps it burning. Without oil, even the brightest flame will die. Many people start with excitement, but when the testing comes, they fall away. Why? Because they had inspiration, but not instruction. They had emotion, but not endurance. Discipline is what sustains what faith begins. You may pray, Lord, give me strength. And God answers not by removing the challenge, but by giving you the power to stand. That power is discipline. When you rise each morning to do what is right, to follow your calling, to love those who hurt you, to forgive when it is hard, that is discipline, and that is faith in action. Faith does not wait for the mountain to move. It starts climbing. It says, even if I must climb slowly, I will not stop. That is what discipline sounds like. It is faith that continues when motivation is gone. It is faith that stands when others fall. It is faith that works when no one is watching. Many of us pray for miracles, but do not practice discipline. We want God to move, but we do not move ourselves. We want heaven to open, but we will not open our hands to work. Discipline is not the opposite of faith. It is the partner of faith. Faith declares the promise. Discipline walks toward it. Faith says, it is possible. Discipline says, let us make it real. Think of Noah. God gave him a word, a vision of what was to come. For years, he built the ark. There was no rain, no sign of a flood, no proof of danger. People mocked him, laughed at him, called him foolish. But day after day, plank after plank, he continued. That is discipline. That is faith in action. He believed and he built. His obedience produced the evidence. Discipline is faith with hands and feet. It is faith dressed in work clothes. It is the proof that you do not just believe in your destiny. You are walking toward it. Many people say they are waiting on God, but God is waiting on them. He has already given instruction. He is waiting for movement. Faith speaks, discipline acts. Faith inspires, discipline completes. Faith prays, discipline performs. Faith begins, discipline finishes. When the two meet, purpose is fulfilled. In this world, people are moved by sight. They want to see before they believe. But faith moves by conviction, not by comfort. Discipline is the practice of conviction. It says, I do not see it, but I believe it enough to act. And that action is what brings vision to life. Every act of discipline is a seed of faith. Each small decision to do right, to stay focused, to keep pushing, adds up to a harvest. The harvest is not always quick, but it is sure. God honors those who act in faith, not those who merely speak about faith. When you discipline your thoughts, you are protecting your faith. When you discipline your habits, you are watering your faith. When you discipline your emotions, you are strengthening your faith. Faith without control becomes chaos. Discipline gives structure to your belief. Look at a builder. He has a plan, a blueprint, a vision. That vision is faith, what he hopes to see. But every day he works according to the plan, brick by brick, without skipping a step. That work is discipline. If he says, I believe this building will stand, but never lays a single brick, his faith is dead. The moment he starts building, faith becomes visible. Discipline transforms invisible belief into visible reality. It turns promise into performance. You cannot claim to believe in your future if your daily actions deny it. True belief changes behavior. When you truly trust, you obey. When you truly hope, you endure. When you truly believe, you work. That is faith in action. Sometimes discipline means saying no, no to distractions, no to temptation, no to doubt. That no is an act of faith. It is saying, I believe in what God is doing more than I believe in what I feel. Discipline is the guardian of destiny. It keeps you on the path when the road is rough. Faith gives you vision. Discipline gives you stability. Faith makes you dream. Discipline makes you do. Without discipline, faith becomes fantasy. Without faith, discipline becomes routine. You need both. One gives power, the other gives direction. When you see a man who stands firm through storms, you are looking at someone whose faith and discipline are united. When the wind blows, he does not panic. When the rain falls, he does not complain. He has learned that obedience is stronger than emotion. He knows that discipline is not about feeling ready. It is about being faithful. Every morning you rise to pray, even when tired. That is faith in action. Every time you forgive when wronged, that is faith in action. Every time you work honestly when no one is watching, that is faith in action. Every time you continue after failure, that is faith in action. Faith does not promise an easy journey. It promises a victorious one. But victory belongs to those who keep walking when the feeling is gone. Discipline is the decision to keep walking. Many people begin in faith and end in frustration because they forget that faith must be practiced daily. Faith is not a moment, it is a lifestyle. Discipline turns faith from a spark into a steady fire. It keeps the flame alive through cold nights and silent seasons. When you see someone rise from nothing to something, it is not by luck. It is by faith expressed through discipline. When you see a dream fulfilled, it is not by emotion. It is by endurance. Faith is not proven in comfort. It is proven in consistency. Some say, I am waiting for God to lift me. But faith says, God has already given me the ladder. I must climb. The climbing is discipline. The movement is faith in action. Every step upward is proof of belief. Faith without discipline is like prayer without patience. You may start in power, but you will not finish in strength. Discipline is the patience that keeps faith alive until the promise arrives. It is the steady heartbeat of progress. Even when you cannot see tomorrow, discipline says, I will still prepare today. Even when doors close, discipline says, I will keep knocking. Even when tears fall, discipline says, I will still trust. That is faith that breathes, faith that lives, faith that moves. Your feelings may tell you to stop, but faith says continue. Discipline is the voice that agrees with faith, not with fear. Faith believes in God's promise. Discipline walks in God's instruction. Together, they create testimony. Some people think faith removes work, but faith actually requires work. The difference is that the work is done in trust, not in anxiety. When you work with fear, it drains you. When you work with faith, it sustains you. That is why disciplined people do not burn out easily. They are fueled by belief, not by stress. The disciplined man wakes before dawn because he believes that his time is a gift. He guards his words because he believes that words have power. He controls his mind because he believes that thoughts shape destiny. He chooses what is right because he believes that righteousness brings peace. His discipline is not routine. It is revelation. It is his way of saying, I believe in the unseen more than the seen. Every battle you win in discipline is a victory of faith. When you overcome laziness, you declare that purpose is greater than pleasure. When you overcome fear, you declare that trust is greater than terror. When you overcome temptation, you declare that obedience is greater than impulse. These victories may look small, but they are the foundation of greatness. Faith does not shout, discipline does not boast. Together, they produce quiet power. The world may not understand your process, but when the result comes, everyone will see. Because faith without discipline is invisible, but discipline makes faith visible. When you look at creation itself, you see order. The sun rises, the seasons change, the oceans move by boundaries. That is divine discipline. Even God works by principle. Faith is not chaos. Faith is divine order. To walk by faith is to walk in the rhythm of discipline. The man who walks by faith does not rush, he obeys. He does not panic, he trusts. He does not procrastinate, he acts. That balance is what builds lasting success. Sometimes the hardest act of faith is waiting. But waiting is not idleness. Waiting with preparation is discipline. It is saying, God, I trust your timing, but I will keep sharpening my tools. That readiness is faith in action. When you look at the lives of those who changed the world, you will see this pattern. Their faith gave them vision, but their discipline gave them strength. They prayed, but they also planned. They believed, but they also built. They trusted, but they also trained. Their faith spoke through their discipline. If you truly have faith, your actions will show it. You will rise when others rest. You will continue when others complain. You will give when others take. You will persevere when others quit. That is faith walking, breathing, living through you. Discipline without faith becomes pride. Faith without discipline becomes illusion. But when faith and discipline walk together, purpose becomes power. One says, I believe. The other says, I obey. Together, they say, I will fulfill. Your faith must not only live in your mouth, it must live in your schedule. It must live in your habits, in your attitude, in your effort. Every choice you make is a reflection of what you believe. Discipline translates belief into behavior. Faith says, the mountain will move. Discipline picks up the shovel. Faith says, I will be healed. Discipline follows the path of obedience and wisdom. Faith says, I will succeed. Discipline wakes early, learns, works, and grows. Faith gives hope. Discipline gives structure. Faith sees the invisible. Discipline builds the impossible. Faith opens the door. Discipline walks through it. Faith plants the seed. Discipline waters it. Faith believes in the promise. Discipline lives like it's already true. The combination of the two is what shapes destiny. When your actions align with your belief, you become unstoppable. Because faith without discipline is a wish, but faith with discipline is power.